First off, I just want to say a thank you to my subscribers, my 7 little subscribers. That is really exciting considering I am not really doing any social networking for this channel. I have like TikTok, which I barely do anything on, and I just recently made an account on X, which I will put my handle there for you if you want to follow me. I don't really talk about anything. I think the only people that I really follow is like WWE and Liv Morgan. But maybe that'll change and I'll start, I don't know, maybe Twitter's kind of, but I am feeling pretty low energy today. I wanted to talk about just kind of my mental health. So if you care, stay and watch. If you don't, I totally get it. But I have been officially diagnosed now for about 4 years, maybe more like 3, with panic disorder, depression, and anxiety disorder. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about the panic disorder. And the reason is why is just because I had a panic attack last week. With panic disorder, I have a panic attack usually at least once every 2 weeks. I don't want to sound like a snob or something here, but if you don't suffer from panic attacks, you don't understand how terrifying they are, unless you know somebody that does suffer from them. So I actually was diagnosed with panic disorder just recently, just like last year. Before that, it was just general anxiety. I don't know why it's getting worse. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to start seeing a second therapist because my therapist I talk to now said that she thinks that I need to see like somebody that specializes in family trauma, that a lot of that stuff is starting to come to the surface, and I'm struggling kind of to deal with it. So when you have a panic attack, at least for like my panic attacks, I have like 2 minutes maybe when it starts that I know, oh no, and I need to get my medicine like right away. It's almost like this really surreal feeling of, is it going to be a full-blown panic attack or am I just having an anxiety attack? So when it's a panic attack, my heart will just start to race. And I think that I am going to die right now. I am literally about to drop dead because my heart is going to give out because it's beating so fast. It's just this feeling of doom, dread, but there's nothing to be afraid of other than just the panic attack. I start to shake really bad. There's a lot of different symptoms that come with panic attacks. Like you can get headaches, you can get nausea, there's a whole host of them. But the main ones for me seem to be just the really racing heart rate. I think that's probably common for everybody. The real tight chest and like shortness of breath, like heavy breathing, and then trembling. I tremble. And so when it happened last week, and I'd say I have a panic attack. Did I say? I think I usually have one like every 2 weeks. The actual panic attack part usually only lasts for me, about 5 to 10 minutes. It might not even be that long, but when you're having it, it feels like it's an eternity. Usually after my actual panic is subsided, I'll have really bad anxiety. It's almost like an after effect of the panic attack, and it'll last for about anywhere from like an hour to 2 hours, the whole attack. Whenever I have one, I have like a routine, like first when it happens, I get super quiet because I'm embarrassed. It's embarrassing. I don't want anybody to know I'm having a panic attack. My husband always knows though, like right away. And so I'll grab my medicine, and usually I sit for a minute after I take my medicine, and I try to do like breathing techniques to calm myself down. hoping that I'm not going to have like a full-blown panic attack if that doesn't work and I have one. What I do is I lay on my stomach on the ground and I lay on top of a heated massager. I don't know why. It's just what I have to do. It's like my security position. I don't know. I have to do it. It was really sweet though. I was laying there. I think I had it Thursday, the panic attack. And my daughter came up to me and she just kind of starts rubbing my back. And she's like, "What's wrong, Mommy?" And I'm like, "Oh, Mommy's having a panic attack." She's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "I don't know, baby." And she was like, "Well, what does it feel like?" So it's kind of like explaining to her what it felt like. And honestly, that kind of made me feel better, almost like somebody was trying to share in like in my panic, and it did it. It helped calm me down. She's so sweet. And then she started putting on a play with all her Barbies right there in front of me. So it was really nice. It really helped that she was there. I don't know. I'm feeling really sad lately. Just in like the last, I'm having like a depression flare, I guess. That's what I call them. I don't know if that's what they're called. But I just feel really, really sad. And I've been really thinking about, ever since I made those videos about my mom, just how much I'm hurt still by it and how much it's really starting to weigh on my mind all the time. I had and maybe I'll share it with you guys someday, I don't know, but I had a very, very traumatic childhood. I did. The trouble started around the time I was 4 and lasted until, basically until I moved in with my husband. So I have a lot of issues with that. And I feel like they're starting to get worse and worse. And I don't understand why. I'm married. I have my own home. I have a daughter. We have very busy lives. My parents are not really a part of it anymore. I thought I had moved on. None of the things that were happening to me back then are happening now. I have a very safe household. My husband is very, protective, and he's very understanding with my feelings, and we talk about everything all the time. So I don't understand why just recently, it seems like in the last few years, when I've been with my husband now for 18 years, why now it seems like I'm losing my mind when it comes to the way that I was treated. I feel like I'm losing the battle with my mind, but there are times when I feel like I just want to lay in bed and I want to stop eating and I want to give up. And I'm having one of those really bad right now. And I don't know why. I'm not trying to like dump on you guys either. I hope that there's other people out there that can see these videos and understand, like, you're not alone, and I'm struggling, just as much as maybe you are. And let's finish it off a little bit lighthearted on this video. So 2 things. One, I had my very first comment on my channel and someone said that my eyes are too close together. When I first read it, I was like, whose? I didn't even dawn on me. I'm like, whose eyes? And then I was like, oh, it's mine. My eyes are too close together. Are they too close together? That's a first. I've never heard that before. So I told my husband, I was like, well, that's kind of a bummer. And he was like, well, honey, you know that people are going to say mean things. I'm like, that's not what bothers me. What bothers me is that's my first comment on the channel. That's what I'm going to remember is my first comment. So my eyes are so close together. And 2, I will finish off with a mom story because I feel like this channel is gonna have a lot of mom stories here and there, not all at one time, because I threw a whole lot at you guys with those first, my God, what was it, like 6 videos? So I have issues. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I also have endometriosis. So I got very, very sick 4 years ago, and in the process developed just a bunch of syndromes. And so I developed polycystic ovarian syndrome. I was talking to my doctor recently, and I mentioned a hysterectomy, and he said, because you have been suffering for so long, yes, that is something that we will, if that's what you want to do, we can move forward with that. And so I told him that I would think about it. And so my mom and my aunt were actually visiting at the time, and I told my mom that I might have to have a hysterectomy. Now, my mom is 56 years old. She still has a period. She was furious when I told her this. She was so upset. She was like, so you're going to get a hysterectomy. That means that you aren't going to have a period before me. And so I kind of laughed it off like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that is what it means. Now, my mom has this like habit when she's really mad and she wants to say something, like if you've disagreed with her, which I told you guys before, you can't disagree with my mom. She gets mad. She really does. But if somebody's disagreeing with her or somebody's saying something she doesn't like or whatever, she spins her ring. I've noticed it's like a nervous tick. She spins her ring when she's stewing. So she starts spinning her ring and she's kind of just like looking off. And my Aunt Sherry was there and she's like, oh, well, you know, if that's what you want to do, she was like, then you should do it, because they all know my issues and everything that I've been suffering from for the last 4 years. My mom was like, yeah, but I'm going to be so upset if I still have a period. And I'm thinking in my head like, okay, well, you know, thanks for making this all about you. I'm the one that might possibly have to have a very big deal surgery. I don't know if it's a hard surgery, but it's definitely a hard recovery. Had surgery once before. I never want to have it again. It was awful. Like the recovery part it's really hard. And mine was just a minor surgery. And I told my mom, I was like, you know, I'm scared too. But I was like, I have been suffering in pain for so long. I mean, ever since I had a period and I developed endometriosis, I have been suffering that whole time. She was like really upset and she just kept bringing up how like, oh, you're not going to have a period anymore. That's not fair. You know, I'm old. I shouldn't have to deal with this anymore. I was like, you know, I'm scared. I don't want to have to do this. This is not something that I wanted to have to do. I was like, but I really feel like I should, because I'm tired of being in pain. And to be honest, I was like, I'd rather just deal with a pesky period every month than what I deal with and what you see me deal with every month in pain. It's sick. I get really sick. I'd rather deal with a period any day. And she was like, she kind of looked at me. She's like, that's because you're just too young to understand. I don't understand. I don't know if my mom still looks at me as a child. Because too young to understand is something that she says to me all the time. I feel like saying, Mom, you are 16 fucking years older than me. That's not that much. I've had my period since I was 14 years old. What do you mean I'm too young to understand? I didn't even get it. And she has not once said, you know what? I think you should do this because I see you in pain and I think it would be better for you. She just keeps complaining that, well, I guess I'll still have my period, but you won't. It must be nice. Yep. My mom told me it must be nice to have endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome. I can't have children because of PCOS. It must be nice. So anyway, that's it. Like I said, low energy. I'm really tired. I'm really flustered because of work and yada, yada, yada. You don't care. So I will see you guys tomorrow. And remember, it does get better. I don't really have an outro, but I've just been kind of saying, it gets better from here. Does it get better from here, guys? I don't know. Mwah.